I will rejoice, for He has made me glad. He has made me glad. Oh, He has made me glad. I will rejoice, for He has made me glad. When all my world seemed oh so dark, He turned my darkness into light. When mountains stood in my way, He turned them into a plain. He made the crooked places smooth. He has made me glad. When going through the wilderness, He made a way for me. He told me He will never leave me. He held me by the hand. He turned my sorrows into praises. He has made me glad. Going up, from glory to glory, going up, going up. Nako yemba, lelo pona kose pelisa yawe. Nako yemba, yemba, lelo pona kose pelisa yawe. Yemna magonto, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yemna bamunda, hallelujah, hallelujah. He uses things that are useless to make them useful. If the world says you are powerless, in Jesus you are powerful. He took me from zero to make me a hero. What my mother could not do, yeah, what my father could not do, what the doctors could not do, and what the world could not do. My Jesus gives me joy.
Shalom, 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 everybody. Hello, welcome to Talk to Me. It is Rose Bijoux Ramires again this evening, and I welcome all of you for being here tonight. It's Woman of God Rose Bijoux, Talk to Me, where we discuss issues faced by real people undergoing real life experiences. Bonsoir à tout le monde, c'est Rose Bijoux. Ce soir, nous serons un peu bilingues. On est là pour parler de la violence faite à la femme, la violence conjugale, domestic violence. We are here to talk about domestic violence, but more importantly, why do victims of domestic violence find it difficult to leave? I like to bring topics that we need to discuss in order to empower ourselves to be better people. A lot of people are suffering in silence. Why? Because they don't know how to get the help that is available. Why? Because they don't understand how to get the help. Why? Because they are not encouraged enough And so I come on this platform to tell you there is a way out. And I usually want to bring people who've been through the situation so that we hear things from the horse's mouth. So it's not Rose Bijoux said, but a person went through it. Now, before I bring my guest, who is also a domestic violence survivor, I want to say hello to some people. I see Sister Alicia, you are connected. God bless you for connected. Mama Marcelina Ramires, you are connected. I see Sister Ikan Kadinga, you are connected. Pastor Fire Fogo, Pastor David Efole, thank you for connecting tonight. If you connect, I am unable to share, unfortunately, tonight. So I'm really depending on all of you to share for me. Okay, I'm depending on all of you to share this video. Somebody out there is a victim of domestic violence. They need to be empowered. They need to be helped. Okay, my brother Dolie Sengo, so good to see you connected. So without wasting time, let me bring my guests of tonight. Hello.
Hi.
And hello.
Hello.
So I'm going to one by one invite you in. So I'm going to remove myself and quickly let Sister Joelle introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Joelle and I am a psychology graduate and currently a youth violence caseworker at A&E in hospital. That is me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sister Joelle. I'm going to now welcome my next guest. Hello.
Hi. My name is Esperance. I am an African woman. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a Christian serving in the church. Professionally, I work in admin with a background in law. So domestic violence or just campaigning for women is one of my passions. I believe women, full stop. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Wonderful.
I'm happy to be here.
Wow. Thank you so much. So you've heard Sister Esperance is an African woman. She believes in women, she says. She's my biological sister, very calm, and she didn't want to say much, but we believe in hearing women, speaking for women, raising awareness for women, because women do suffer quite a lot of injustices. I'm sorry, men out there, I'm not trying to be a feminist, but we need to look after each other. And so tonight we're going to talk about domestic violence. And I know my sister and I have done videos in the past campaigning against domestic violence. And this month, October, is a month of domestic violence awareness. So there you have it. Please share this video. Brother Jenly, share this video. Somebody invite Angeline Shaningwa into this video. She needs to come and hear this as well. Will be great. So I'm now going to bring in my guest of tonight. Please come in. Hello. Hi. Just face the camera and tell the people connected tonight your name, what you do, and why you're here.
Hi everyone, I'm NICOLE MONSHEJU. I'm a senior nurse here in London, and I'm a mother of four. I'm a married woman, a mother of four. I'm here to talk about domestic violence.
Why specifically?
I've been through it. So I want someone out there to know that there is a way out.
Amen.
Donc, ba maman, ba papa, ba ndeko, ha imbote na bino nyonso tu. Naza Nicole MONSHEJU, naza mariée, maman bana 4. Et puis naza nurse na mboko yo, mais bon, naza lelo na plateau ya sœur Bijoux pour na kosolola pour na domestic violence. Abuse na kati ya bandako, relationship. Donc kopesa bato awareness na ba young o baza bazolinga kobala, et puis na biso moko ba mama déjà toza na kati ya ndako, na mutu nyonso tu, ba mama, ba papa, bato nyonso tu, koyebisa bato kaka ke ata tunnel ezali me na suka kuna mwinda ezali. Donc nalekaki na nzela wana ezali true story oyo nga mpona koyebisa bato ke oui nalekaki kuna me soki naza oyo naza lelo, so anyone can do it.
Amen. Wow. Just to recap on that, so Sister Nicole and I agreed she's going to speak in the language she feels more comfortable in, also to capture a wider audience. And as she just said that she's been through it, she's a mother, she's a wife as well, but she went through domestic violence. She wants anyone who's been through domestic violence to understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. We are on YouTube, Rose Bijoux Ramires YouTube as well. So if you have YouTube, you can go and subscribe now to my YouTube channel, Rose Bijoux Ramires, and the video is there now as well. Because there are some people, some of your friends who don't have Facebook, who don't like Facebook. So if you can please share the YouTube link that I've just put on there, will be amazing. And if you feel so touched by the story and you want to encourage us by sowing a seed onto this platform, yes, why not? So we can bring more guests. Feel free to do so as well. So I'm just going to bring Joelle and Esperance in, and then we're going to start talking about this thing. Let's get cracking then. So what is domestic violence really? I'm going to be referring a lot to Sister Nicole, but I just want from a psychological perspective, Sister Joelle, can you tell me what you understand by domestic violence really? Because a lot of people think it's being punched, having sore eyes, having black eyes. What do you understand by domestic violence really, if you can just tell us?
Wow. First of all, there is no one form of domestic violence. So there are different types of domestic violence, and that's the first one to know. But in general, domestic violence is a pattern of assaultive behavior or coercive behavior, in a sense, to gain control of a victim. So this is where an abuser can gain control either by being physically abusive or emotionally or psychologically abusive, or you can also have domestic violence through sexual, or you can also have domestic violence through economical status or financial status. So this is where an abuser takes control of a person's finances, that could be by controlling their bank, or limiting them to how much money they can have, or limiting any access to their money. So that's the first thing to know, is that there are different types of domestic violence, and the main thing is it is a pattern of abuse and it is a coercive behavior. So that's the best way I would explain what domestic violence is.
Thank you so much. Donc, il y a des gens qui peuvent être dans une violence conjugale, que là, c'est l'argent, l'autre personne, leur partenaire est en train de prendre leur argent, de leur abuser financièrement, émotionnellement. Alors, ce n'est pas seulement que tu es abusé physiquement. So it's a lot. I love that. So I'm going to bring Esperance to also tell us what she understands by that term, abuse, because we really want the definition right so that we can help people better. Yeah. Tell us.
That's a really, really good definition that Sister Joelle has given, and it's very apt. It's all about a pattern of behavior. It's not a one-off act. It continues, as most victims of domestic violence, or people who follow cases of domestic violence, will know that the abuser often will apologize as soon as it happens, either immediately or sometime after. They may follow it with a gift to show how sorry they were, but then it repeats itself. It may take a different form. But also would like to highlight the fact that it's not just limited to adults. It's not just limited to man to woman. It's also women against men. Men can also be victims of domestic violence. It could be a man against a man. It could also be an adult against a parent. So it could be a child, an elderly parent who lives with a child. It's abuse. So you are supporting your parents living with you, and you're subjecting them to violence or emotional abuse. It all falls under the same umbrella of abuse. So we're here to talk about all victims. If you're a man, you're a woman, you're an older person, you're a younger person, you're a 16-year-old, your boyfriend is 17, and you feel that, oh, surely it can't affect me. Yes, there's no age limit to abuse. You could be young, you could be old, you could be married, you could be living together, you could be living in your parents' house and your boyfriend manages to beat you up. So, or they manage to abuse you, they manipulate you, they isolate you from your friends. So it takes many, many different forms.
Thank you so much. Wow, I love that. Now, I'd like to hear it from the actual victim. I know that Sister Nicole didn't really say properly, but she is a victim of abuse. So we've heard from Sister Betty and Sister Joelle how what the definition is, and all those are wonderful definitions. And I hope somebody out there is listening, because you know the perpetrators are always give you gifts to make you feel that they have not done anything wrong and they will never do it again. It was, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was angry. I was just upset. Oh, did I hurt you? Oh, you're not really. I didn't break your arm, did I? Oh my goodness, I'll never do it. And then they shower you with gifts, and then you forget what they did. But a lot of times it's progressive, like it's abuse, so it's progressive. So it doesn't diminish, it progresses to a higher level always. Starts small and it rises up. So it will be a slap in the wrist, and then it will be a slap on the back, and then it will be a slap on the face. It's progressive. So once they've pushed you to the ground, next time they'll break your wrist. It won't diminish unless it stops completely if you get help. So it's important. Let's hear it from the actual domestic violence abuse victim tonight. And if you are there, you're an abuse victim, please understand that you're not being accused of doing anything wrong. We are asking the question, why is it hard to leave? So we can answer this question and hopefully help you and other people connected. So Mama Nicole, can you tell us your definition of abuse as you experienced it?
Okay. All that my sister said, that's really, really good. And I think is that is I cannot break it. It's like someone take control over you. It can be financial.
Comment ezalaki mpona yo, ezalaki soko olingi opesa définition yango par rapport à ce qui
m'est
arrivé ezala nini? Donc mpona yo definition ya abuse eza nini? What is it for you? What happened to you? So how would you define it based on what happened to you?
Okay. Merci Sister Rose. Eza difficile, eza facilité, mais tikarameka.
Yeah. Try and I'll translate when you finish everything, and I'll just summarize it for the English speakers.
Eza vraiment difficile parce que domestic violence, mpona nga personally nazalaki abusé na kati ya ndako sans na réaliser que naza abused tina moment moko boye.
So you were being abused in your own house, and how you didn't realize it was abuse?
No.
Wow.
Ozomona kake bazo make you feel low. Onazoloba eza past nanga. Pour lelo, I'm a happy human. Naza vraiment happy, naza bien. Mais tant nazalaki ezaki oza na passe, ozokoka koloba te, oza na mot à dire te. Et puis ozokende musala bazo contrôler leur nyonso tout. Bazo make you feel low.
Like a child.
Yes.
Every step is controlled.
Donc soki bengi na téléphone fo mutu ayeba obengaki nani, et puis po nini obengaki nani abengi yo, mbongo na musala oza na droit kuta osomba biloko mosusu te, mutu akoyebisa yo ke baoyebisa yo ke olingi okende osomba neti par exemple nakopesa neti exemple okende osomba olobi na okende Max Spencer na treat myself nasomba ta bra nanga eza 30 pounds. Pourquoi il faut que nous sommes à 30 pounds alors que ce qui est na Primark au moins bra 5 pounds.
Wow.
Mais ils ont bongo oyo ya yo ozoki na musala. Et puis ko beta. Donc makamyo soso ça les amabe. Sangai okosa eloko boité. Donc But eloko nyo oza mutu aza wana te mpo encourager yo osala eloko moko boye. Argument sur argument na likambo nyonso. Discussion na discussion. So oza na droit opesa point de vue te. Point de vue na yo nyonso eza kaka mabe.
Okay, so everything you do is wrong. If you've got your own money, they control it.
Yes.
You're not allowed to buy yourself your own bra from your own salary. You can't buy yourself
No,
expensive.
you can, but not expensive.
Yeah,
one.
you can't buy yourself expensive treats. They manage your money. They control every phone call you get. They control every message on your phone. Basically, you're not in control. A bit like Sister Belinda just wrote. Sister Bella wrote, you feel muted. You got no voice, basically. They speak for you.
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
Et puis, koponela ba camarade, ko limiter yo na batu, ko bimate. Neti social life on a kinde ser Bijoux invité nga ou bien nini, il faut yazala. So azate okoke yo monte. Makamba bana, donc vraiment très difficile. Ok, musala oyebi te ke mutu aza wana deja azozela oyo na musala azozela deja ya il faut kotuna aye ntina musala kotuna nini osisi musala obandaki nini donc ozotambola neti nde tolobaka ke ozomema mwana bana classe kwa ozokende otika mwana na classe mpo oyeba ke obandaki heure boye osisa musala heure boye donc
So he controls what time you go to work, what time you get there. He even asks your colleagues whether you were at work.
Yeah. Et puis bana na ndako boye bana mama ke musala oui. Wow. How do you know that aza na musala? Yeah, because she's working. Bobenga na musala. Kobenga na musala eza bana babenga, il faut babenga na musala bazwi yo passe na musala ke yeah, you're working.
So there's that lack of trust, basically you lying you're not at work. Yes. And who you with basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Et puis ba camarade nini oza na bango, il faut aye ba camarade oza na bango. Certaines hours ya kobima donc musala esilaka neti 20h obani musala 7h30 20h calcul na nzela donc ozoconduire il faut yeba ke na 21h30 21h juste fo naza déjà na ndako ou bien te trafic ekozala te.
Wow.
Trafic ekozala te parce que so trafic eza kaka problème trafic ekozala te donc bato bakoya kotala yo na ndako te oza alada oyamba bato na ndako te et puis oyo nazoloba sœur Bijoux eza true story na nga mutu akoki koteka ngo ewe aza te eza what I went through mais soki na ye lelo mpona koloba bo parce que bato bazosouffrir libanda bato ebele bazosouffrir.
So this is your true story, what you're telling, what you went through. You weren't allowed to have friends. You couldn't have people visit you. He decided who was your friends. He decided what you wore. He decided how you lived, basically. And how did that make you feel? If you had to describe it, I mean, I know it's hard, but
difficult, c'est ça. Na ebandeli ozomona ke peut-être eza ozozwa ngo na ndenge ebele.
Did you think it's love, maybe?
Yes. Ozomona kaka eza nango love. Mutu aza peut-être jaloux yango alingi yo yango wana azosala bongo.
So you felt that this is love. They're jealous of the people that are trying to be your friends because they love you. So you felt you didn't understand it was abuse at all.
No.
Okay.
It's
not the same. It's not straight away you feel it.
It's not straight away. Ezaka ozomona ke eza love. Surtout ke soki bana baza na kati. It's different.
So when the kids are involved inside, you feel you can take it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come to where you tell us when did you feel it was abuse?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly bring Sister Esperance in and Sister Joelle, and then we'll ask them a few questions. Then I'll come to you so you tell us when exactly you started to feel that this isn't normal. This is actually abuse. Okay. Guys, did you hear that?
Yeah. First of all, like it's just encouraging to hear Sister Nicole speak in the first place, and I think that's just the first step, being able to speak about what you've overcome. It takes strength, and it's very encouraging to see, especially being done from an African woman, because I don't think it's done enough in our community. So yeah, thank you for speaking out.
Yeah, Sister Esperance.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mama Nicole. I just want to encourage you, keep speaking, because in our community, only we speak each other's language. We can have someone from a different country, different culture, someone who speaks English left, right, and center talk. But if they don't hear it from someone where they can see themselves in them, they won't listen. So thank you for speaking out today, because I know there's somebody out there. Maybe they're watching now, maybe they watch later. They will identify with what you say. And if they can see themselves, they can start seeing their situation in a different light. Because what we're saying today is you have every right to be autonomous in the way that you live your life. You have every right to expect to live peacefully. You have every right to expect to enjoy being loved. You have every right to expect to have a wonderful relationship with your husband or your partner or whoever and be happy. And it is not right for anybody to make you feel less than, or your children feel that they have to accept this warped idea of an abusive parent. It's not okay. So thank you for speaking out.
Yeah.
Definitely, I
Merci
think
beaucoup.
one
Yeah,
thing.
just one sec. Pour ceux qui nous suivent en français, en lingala, Sœur Betty et Sœur Joël a dit que merci Maman Nicole de parler de ton histoire, yo moko vraiment le bien la première personne, parce que cette histoire na yo et ça la milieu, parce que beaucoup bazo souffrir. Et puis Sœur Betty a écouté que c'est important de savoir qu'on a tous besoin d'être aimés. C'est important d'être aimé et de savoir que j'ai droit à l'amour. Parce que beaucoup de bateaux croient qu'ils ont droit à cet amour. Alors, mutazo fait ça et bolingo ba niata ba kamula ba pietina ba sakana nango ba baby ça. Ils croient que ça c'est l'amour qu'ils doivent avoir. Et quand on est dans une violence conjugale, on interprète mal l'amour, mais on a droit à l'amour. Oui, si c'est Joël, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think like what Sister Nicole said, that she felt that it was love. That's what she thought. She just thought that it was love at first, until it was too much, and that is the reality. I don't think anyone goes into a relationship looking for an abuser. So when you go into that relationship, you don't think that this is going to turn out to be a domestic violence relationship, and that's why it's never easy to leave in the first place, because you genuinely don't believe that that's
my question. What? Give me the reasons why you think. First of all, you Sister Joelle, from a psychological point of view, then Sister Betty. Why do you feel people don't leave? Why is it difficult? I know they want to leave, because let's not think they want to stay there. But why is it difficult to leave?
I mean, I think that there are many reasons why, but I think the main one that stands out in my mind, one, it's comfortability, and it's what you know. If you've been, like I said before, the relationship didn't straight away go from, was abusive straight away. You were probably in a loving relationship. You were probably with someone that looked after you and was good to you. And so you would never think that that person would harm you, and you never want to think the worst of someone. So many people don't believe that they are in an abusive relationship, and that's why it's already hard to leave. So the first thing, to be able to leave, you have to recognize that this relationship is not healthy for my well-being, it's not healthy for my children, whatever.
So recognizing that it is an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah,
so they don't leave because they don't recognize it's unhealthy, first of all.
Yes, that's the first thing. And I think second thing is abusers are good at what they do. Abusers are good at manipulating. Abusers are good at being coercive, and so that they will always try to trick their victim, and it's it's very psychological as well. And a lot of the time, they will shift the blame, and a person may even feel that they are the problem when they're not. So that could be another reason why it's hard to leave. And I think also this may not apply to as many people now, but cultural differences. I remember I was talking to my mum before coming onto this show, and she was saying, like, in their culture and back in their day, you know, maybe there was no way out because maybe that man was providing for them.
The provider, yes.
And so how can you even begin to leave? Maybe that relationship was actually for your advantage.
So money reasons, financial stability is why they can't leave. Okay.
Those are just a few. I won't go on.
Thank you. Yeah. So you touched on financial reasons. That person, the perpetrator, the abuser, is the actual provider. You've touched on lack of understanding that it's an unhealthy relationship, because a lot of people, they think he loves me, so he's jealous of me when I talk to other men. That's why he beats me up. So they are unable to identify that as an unhealthy relationship. They think it's healthy. A man should be jealous of you, and cultural backgrounds, also play a role. Sister Esperance.
Yeah. Some of the reasons, one of the most well-known reasons is there's fear. Fear that if you were to leave, they will do something to you on your way out. They will kill you. Others, it's not even fear of the actual persons. Sometimes it's fear of society or extended family. They will question you. Oh, that man is such a wonderful man. We've never ever seen him raise his voice.
Yes.
Fear of judgment, fear of doing it on your own if people don't believe you, fear of your children blaming you because you broke up the family. There's just so many varied reasons that we could it's not, there's no one formula of the reasons why, but what's important is for people who are going through the situation to realize that you can come out.
Yes.
Even on your own, even if you're on your own, if you can get the strength to get out of that situation, you will find, just like you found strength to stay in that relationship, you can find the strength to survive even on your own, even with our blood family. Sometimes our blood family, our enemies, they don't make us feel that they will be there for us. Sometimes your community, your church will be the people that will help you. Sometimes it will be your friends that will help you. But there's so many reasons why many domestic violence survive. And for men, the biggest issue is the police won't believe you.
If a man is being abused, because it happens to men too. Yes,
they will laugh at you. Men are one of the most underreported cases of domestic violence is men. Especially if it's a woman beating up a man, abusing a man, that man feels like, oh my goodness, I could never report. It's impossible. Just do it. You are worthy of protection as well, even as a man. Sister Joelle wanted to add something as well.
Yes, I'll bring her in a minute. Sister Liz de Pisco just wrote something on what you said, Esperance. People are afraid to leave abusive relationship because they worry that society will judge them, especially when the relationship involves kids in it. That's absolutely true. So they're afraid to leave because the family will say he's our provider. They're afraid to leave because society will say you're a man, how can a woman beat you up? They're afraid to leave. So people are afraid to be judged a lot. Donc, tu believe bazana ba relation ya vie conjugale parce que bazobanga. Tamso mobali wana betaka wenda pesaka bino mbongo ya futela bato ba minerval ya futela ba parents ndako ba vandaka ye mutatina mbongo na Afrique ye mutaya na famille nyonso na poto. Donc ozana of sacrifice mbeka ya mutuya zala kuna ba betaka yo ndima kaka aza mutu malamu aza mutu malamu mwa mbataka moke anabetaki yo apengisa baparano na poto ti aza mutu malamu, he's a good man, come on now. So they will tell you aza mutu malamu afutaki papa nalingaka kufa na hôpital, mais n'est-ce pas c'est lui qui a payé les frais pour l'hôpital. Aza mutu malamu. Society will make you doubt that what you feel is wrong. They'll make you doubt that you are in an unhealthy position because they see the good of the person, but they don't know. They don't know what ails that home where you actually live. Sister Joelle, you can raise your comment or tell me that.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Bijoux. Like the way I think of it, I don't know how this translates in English, but we have such a Kanga Mutema.
Someone just wrote it.
Yeah,
Don't listen.
Kanga Mutema culture.
Hold your heart. Take it.
Yeah, and it's really for me it really bugs me, and I hate that, our women, our mothers sometimes are the one giving this advice, you know, oh, you need to hold heart, Kanga Mutema, it will pass.
Take heart.
And that is part of the problem as well. Like we're getting the wrong advice from the wrong people sometimes. And another thing I was going to say before, as Yabiti was saying about in regards to fear of society, I think judgment as well. The fact that when people open up, the first thing that they're asked is, why is it taking you so long to leave? Or how did you...
I've just got the courage to get out. Encourage me.
That shouldn't be the case. Like you should sit and listen to a person regardless of whether they're in that situation. If they're not trying to get out of the situation, the fact that you can be there for them without judgment, I think, is the first step. And also some partners think that their abusers won't change without them, and this is part of the whole manipulation process. They think that they're the
talk about that a bit before I go to Mama Nicole. So that psychological feeling that if I'm here and Zamba Osala, if I leave, he will die without me. He will explain that why, especially in the Christian community, a bit on the psychological bit. Why does the victim feel it's their responsibility to change the abuser?
I think I don't know if I'll do it justice explaining it, but I'll try my best. I think it's part of manipulation. When the relationship started well and it was going well, you probably thought, you know, yes, we're a match, we're good for one another. And so when things are going bad, you're going to try your best to, you know, pull it together. You're going to think, I can still hold this relationship together. So it's just the best way I can say is part of the manipulation, and you want to be the person who changes that other person, or you think that no one else.
A bit of a victory, isn't it? Bit of self-glory in it that I did it, I stayed and changed. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know the best way to explain it.
We don't know. Okay, thank you. So we're going to hear from Sister Nicole. Your perspective. I know it's hard, but just take it slow. We're here for this. Take your time. If it gets too much, I'll make you a cup of tea. How's that? Okay. Your explanation of why you didn't leave at the time you should have. I'm glad you've left. We'll talk about the positives, but let's talk about the negatives first. Why didn't you leave? Why were you taking all of that? First, let's stay there. Why didn't you leave?
My children first.
Your children
first.
Okay. Wow. He's the father of your kids and you want to stay for you.
Yes. And I was hoping that it will change.
Every day you hoped?
Every day.
Did every day something good happen? Did it change even a bit?
No.
Okay.
No. Donc, normalement, quand ça a changé, non, pas sa chance. Ok. Maybe, on peut sa chance. Mais si on a Taliban, I can't leave this relationship because I've got children. I've got 4. So, na bana 4 na tika ndenge nini.
Who's gonna want me?
Yeah, na ndenge nini na bana 4. Et puis chaque fois koloba na yeka nanga so na zate ozandeni na bana o ndenge nini ozandeni.
So not you, but he made you think that you could not be loved or be well without him because you got 4 kids.
Yeah. Et puis nga moko pe nazomona kaka na kopesa chance bana baza na 4 baza na 4 bana naza na famille awa famille nene après au longwa naza congolaise african woman toyebi biso nyonso tozotambola na monzela bando tia musapi pointing na view taka ye owana.
So you said I've got kids. If I leave, people will point fingers at me. I've got 4 kids, no husband. I kick my husband out. Or
ndenge kaka na poto toyebaka basi babengana mibali tout ça donc voilà et puis omona ke bon otangi classe osisi ozosala oza na mwa niveau moko boye na société donc okokende na yo donc famille ekokanisa ndenge nini.
So you stayed because what will my family say? What will the society say? Where will I end with 4 kids? Who will want to marry me with this? And he made you believe that with these 4
you are
kids,
nothing
you're
without
nothing without him.
Without
Okay,
him, you're
wow.
nothing. Et puis ozotala pe nakendaki église naza sœur en Christ bamona sœur en Christ pa bimi atiki.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The church will judge you.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Donc obangi pene ke église et ko juger.
Donc poigno ozotika te faut tika nzambe asala faut pesa temps mais tant yo ozotika nzambe asala nzambe pona nga nzambe aza na part na ye mais yo moko poza na part ya osala. Donc tant ozotika temps wana okoenda na makambo mosusu ya minene okokufa bana na yo otiki pe bango. Et puis nani akotala bana na so ozate.
So basically, according to you, is I can pray about it, but I need to take my responsibility as well and leave. So you stayed. Can you tell us what happened to you while you were kangaing motema? What was happening in between?
Na kanga motema wana bandeko nazaki malheureuse. Vraiment très malheureuse. Place na musala ezaki esengonanga kokende musala tout le jour na kolinga na sala na ngata 7 days a week.
So you prefer to leave your house and work every day? Why? So you don't see him?
Poza na ndaku te omona makambo eleka na ndaku te mais soki na kanisi bana nanga nazwi courage ke no Nicole, you have to go back. Pozo na ndaku bana baza na ndaku tango ozomona bana na yo ezosala nga esengo naza bien mpo nazomona bana na nga mais kovanda na ndako non ezalaki vraiment ezalaki pasi okangi motema na okanga motema wana makambo ezobotama ozoloba te surtout ça.
So you were hurting, you took it, you stayed, but the pain was getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse.
And you thought about your kids. You didn't want to leave. Why did you think you would kill the children, or did you think you leaving your kids, the kids wouldn't be well brought up, so you'd rather sacrifice yourself? Or why worry about the kids?
Sister, both. Ezaki na nyonso to mibale olobi parce que ezaki pe ba période moko soki bato baza na mémoire frère moko akufa aboma bana
na voiture
yes.
na East London. Yes, I remember around 2002-2003
nayebi
atumba bana na kati ya voiture nayebi histoire wana
bakabwanaki na mwasi et puis aye kozwaka bana
amibona McDonald
et puis après atumbi na ye na bana.
Oh, I remember that story. It was horrible.
Period
2002 bana kito
period wana ngai pe nazalaki kokende true domestic violence.
Oh my goodness.
Donc,
so that was a big deterrent for you.
Nazao banga, eza na bandeko oyo bayebi nde nazoloba boye. Eza na bandeko bele, eza na sister moko aza awa. Yebisa nga lobi na ngai sala attention Nicole. Omoni ndenge papa wana ucho sala na yebi ki oza na bapasi me keba. Ezaki ba period wana.
Okay, wait. You're in pain, you're suffering, you want to take the courage to leave. Then the story happens in the community that somebody kills himself and the kids after a separation from the woman, and your surroundings tell you this may happen to you if you leave.
Yes.
Think about it. Rather stay because he may do this to you and your kids.
Yeah. Wow. Nakokanga mutema okana banda okanga mutema ebande ko affecter bana. Bana nanga bazalaki affecté nga moko na changeaki bato bayebaki ngai impact na tango wana na lelo, there's a very big difference. Bana nanga bazomona transformation na ngai moko. Po abuse na ngai ezalaki nyonso. Physically nazalaki abuse, naza na bascar na nzoto okay.
Do you mind?
I don't mind.
Do you mind sharing just
Naza
one?
besoin
Those that are hidden in secret, private place we don't want, but can you show the ones that you can show? This is shocking, but we want to share something because she survived it and she's here to tell a story. Other people weren't so blessed. They actually died at the hands of their abusers. They lost their lives. So if you're a victim, you're saying that this is a survivor, to encourage you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So you had all sorts of abuse. Can you show us?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. As only up to where you can. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's clear enough to see. Okay. So she's a nurse as well now, thank God. Can you tell us what happened here?
Kobeta, sorry. Kobeta, manzaka, kobeta.
So it would beat you anytime.
Not anytime, but sometimes the problem
So
is
what's
that
Kanda
izali, oui.
Thank you for
Kanda
that, Sister
izali.
Nicole.
Kanda
How does the scar make you feel? Does it remind you of the abuse?
So Bijoux, but bayebi nga bayebi ke nalata bilamba décolleté.
I'm so sorry.
So Bijoux nazo partager oyo. C'est parce que bato ebele namoni na miso na bato bazokufa, namoni bato bazosouffrir, bakoloba te, baobanga. Nazo accuse motu te, adi choose eya epa na nga. Nazo accuse motu moko te.
I'm not accusing anybody.
What happened?
Mais
pour nga lelo makambo nyonso nazwanga na côté positif.
I see everything positive nowadays.
Nayebi ke Nzambe alingaki peut-être naleka na nzela wana po un jour na aider bato mosusu.
I know that God wanted me to go through this path to help other people one day.
Yeah, it's hard. This is my first time.
C'est la première fois to speak. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. At work, I tell people I feel they need it. I talk to them in private. This is my first time to come out in the community and tell my story. Yeah, let's clap for her. Anybody watching, can you please clap for her? One survivor who's here. Can you encourage her, please, na Facebook, na YouTube? Est-ce qu'on pouvait l'encourager? Please, yeah.
It's hard. Kande na lobi nzela eza na liboso mwinda ezali. Bana ebele bamama ebele bazoloba na ngai bamonaki reflect na biso. Sœur Nicole, tu as besoin de tu as besoin vraiment, tu as besoin surtout ba jeune.
OK. Pour yo abus ezaki na ndenge nyonso physique, financière. Eza na jeune mosu azotala awa expliquer biso état ya mental na yo, état na yo ya makanisi na yo ezaki ndenge nini na kati ya ndako wana. Olobi déjà bando linga osala na yo bapesa yo ba tour mosala de lundi à dimanche po oyaka na ona ndako te po soko ina ndako okutana na ye. Donc on préférait osala kana oka so expliquer biso mentalement tu te sentais comment?
Lourd, dépressé. Mais nazo yeba te ke ezaki dépression. Na yeba ki te nazo kene musala na comment kene musala changement na nzoto nanga. Naza na besoin omona bato te nakomi kaka nazala na nga moko
olinga olata bilamba ezoexpose nzoto te po baomona ba escars
na lelo nakokaka te bato bayebisanga bana bayebisanga mam ese eleka nango mais nakokaka te nakokaka te et puis mentalement nazalaki vraiment down c'est vraiment eza dépression ozosala dépression sa oyeba ozokende na mosala okende ozotambola peut-être soki osanoli vraiment yo ozomonaka oza bien mais bato bayebi yo bazomona changement
parce que pesanga siko ba exemple ya ba changement oyo elakisaka oza victime ya abuse apparence na yo
elobeli na yo
elobeli
na yo mosusu oza bato mosusu baza aoloba te
some people don't talk
akomi ye mo kaka bato bazoseka
te
joie eza susu te
there's no joy.
Par contre bato mosusu bakoma olinga babimaka libanda babimaka tout le temps
some
ailleurs.
People prefer to keep going out, they don't want to come back home.
Et puis elateli na yo échanger.
You dress differently. How different?
Ndenge ezalaka ozwi ata mwa lip gloss otie makeup ngazosala mote.
You don't have time or energy to put the makeup on.
Ozotala yo moko bi what for nasala mo po nini oza na esengo te inside po apparence na biso il faut na kati ozala na esengo après okobima bien libanda.
So you need to feel good from the inside so the outside will look also good.
Ko na kati déjà naza bien te donc nazomona ntina moko te même soki otie yango moto oyebisa yo te oza na compliment te.
Even if you put your makeup, no one is going to give you compliments that you look good.
Yeah, so ozomona kaka but there's no point. Nazala na kaka bongo mais bato ba pembe no bazomona ke changement moko ezali. Ozoko kosomba eloko na ndenge olingeli te. Donc ozozwa mbongo mais na mosala mais eza neti ozozwa te. Ozoko kosala eloko te, ozokoka te.
When did you get to the point to feel that this is abuse? I've had enough. What happened?
Na kosola na musala, na kosola na musala, na ba collègue, surtout ya ba école mususu, kosola ka na musala.
Just talking to my colleagues at work.
Oui, bazomona ngai changement so na ye, naza mutu mo na so naza place fo boyeba ke NICOLE azawana. Mais na musala.
So I'm a very extroverted person. When I'm there, you will know that I'm there.
Mais na komi na musala. Nazaka bongo ndenge ezala na musala ke ok weekend bien tokende ata mwa restaurant bien nini naza intéressé.
I wasn't interested in going out.
Donc na changé vraiment après bato bandi otuna ngai NICOLE something must be wrong somewhere.
So people watching you, seeing you are the ones who make you see the alarm.
Oui. Bato bandi oyebisa ngai mais nazaki na musala nazaki na bato bien bandeko bien.
I had good people, good colleagues at work.
Tozosola na bango bandi oyebisa ngai NICOLE oyo eza abuse.
You would talk and then they would say NICOLE this is actually abuse.
Yeah. Oyo eza abuse. Okoki jamais kotika bo you have to do something. Et puis na ndako bana bazaki sou bien te bana bakomi agitation tout le temps. Et puis moi si
so my children were not happy at home. Yeah. They were stressed, very distressed.
Very distressed. Coris plus oza nzamba pamola.
Coris, well, thank you for connecting. God bless you.
Coris azaoye psanga tout le temps zaki mukie.
She was young.
Mais azaoye psanga tout le temps dit maman. Why do you find all the time? Not dad. Oza nurse. Don't you think that something's wrong with your dad? You can help dad.
Chorus would tell me, you are able to help dad. Something is wrong with dad. You can help him.
Tant Chorus abanjo yebisanga. Nazotala nga albina oza mwana mkozo comprendre albina na mama.
I said to her, you're too young to understand. She said, Mom, you're not happy at home. Yeah. So even the kids can tell. The thing is, the victims, other people can see, but you can't see it yourself.
No, okay. Sometimes you can't.
When did you decide? So is that what made you decide?
Yes. Namoni vraiment que nakomoka posa nakufa.
Okay, so that was a turning point. You felt so depressed, you wanted to take your own life.
Natindi message moko epai ya beau-frère nanga.
So I sent my brother-in-law a message one day.
Mobali ya petite sœur nanga Papa Isaac.
Papa Isaac, I sent him a message.
Natindeli message.
I said to him, I'm
I'm
tired. I want to die. I'm so tired. I want to die.
Papa Isaac
Brother Isaac told me, he sent me a verse. He encouraged me. He said, you're a child of God. Stop that idea of wanting to kill yourself. We will pray. You're a strong woman. You'll see the light.
Vraiment
He encouraged me.
Et puis,
Has anybody ever, for once, for those people you shared, actually told you, pack up, get up, and go?
No.
Thank you. I'll leave it there for now. Sister Joelle, Sister Betty, you heard Sister Nicole. Your comments, please.
The question you asked, what I like about the advice that Papa Isaac gave to Nicole is that he didn't tell her to leave that relationship, but he encouraged her enough for her to be able to make her own decision and push her to leave. And I think that's the difference, and that's what's needed. It's about giving a person autonomy, so giving the person, that responsibility themselves, but by encouraging them and helping them see a different perspective, maybe.
I like that. Do you know why? Because they're being abused, they're being told what to do every day. They're being controlled every day.
Yeah.
So even that advice of get up, pick up, get up and go could be seen as a form of abuse again. Because they're so used to being controlled. So the word autonomy here is the key word. Thanks for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's just about, her self-worth was affected. She got to a place where she felt worthless. And so I think in regards to help, we need to be able to encourage the victims and show them that, no, you are worthy of being alive. You are worthy of so much more and you deserve so much more. It's just about encouraging and uplifting.
Yeah. Sister Esperance.
Mama Nicole, your story has really triggered me. It's so upsetting, but the reason why I remain passionate, and I know that this subject covers men as well, but the reason I remain passionate about supporting women is because I always think about a woman like you. In my head, I always see you and people like you, even men like you, people in a position like you who are helpless, who
that's the word, helpless,
don't have anyone to tell them I'm here for you. So I think my biggest bugbear is that we need to change the narrative in our community. We need to do better as individuals and expect better and be encouraged to expect better. I am living in a way that creates a safe environment for my daughter, a safe environment for my nephew. And I expect my daughter to be kind and to receive kindness, to love and to receive love. So I will not tolerate her mistreating other people. And I'm hopefully bringing her up in such a way that if she starts to treat others badly, she will recognize that this behavior is unacceptable and seek help. What I know for a fact, I'm sorry if there's anybody who would like to contradict me, they're more than welcome. What I know for a fact is in our community, we do not have a narrative that shows men or women who are behaving in an unacceptable way, that their behavior is unacceptable and they need to seek help. There are a lot of damaged men and women in relationships today. They think it's acceptable to be extremely violent to their partners, to their girlfriends, to their children. They think that's okay. They have a warped sense of behavior that is not addressed. And when somebody is in a really bad relationship and they get to a place like Mama Nicole where they leave, instead of that person introspectively looking at themselves, putting the mirror up themselves and saying, my behavior was wrong. The way I treated my wife, the way I treated my husband, the way I treated my children was unacceptable. Let me seek help. I'm sure Mama Nicole didn't want to divorce her husband.
No.
All she wanted was a safe environment for herself and her children. She wanted to remove herself from that situation. But if that person had gone to seek help, then they would have been reconciled. So we need to become people who learn to put the mirror up in front of ourselves and see when we behave in an unacceptable manner, apologize, beg for forgiveness, and then seek help to make ourselves better. Because even if your wife or your husband leaves you, you're going to another relationship.
You do the same.
If you didn't recognize that you were wrong in the first place, you'll go and abuse the next person.
Yes.
If you were an abusive parent, an abusive boyfriend will become an abusive fiance. Abusive fiance will become an abusive husband. Abusive husband will become an abusive grandfather.
The cycle goes on.
The cycle will continue, and you will start to get even better. You'll be specialized in your So we need to know, we need to change our language to make our boys and girls, men and women know that when you misbehave, if your ex-husband had come to me at the time of NICOLE, as I am right now, I will tell him to his face, even if he was related to me, that his behavior is unacceptable.
Yeah.
He needs to change. And I will not tolerate for him to mistreat you that way. And that should have been the language of the people around you, whether they are Christian or non-Christian, in the church or outside the church. They should have spoke up for you and made you feel that it's okay.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that a little bit,
treated.
Sister Esperance. The blame. One of the reasons victims stay, we touched on it, judgment and blame. And the blame comes from people who know us. Because the abuser are people who, abuse happens in the home, in the family. It's from someone who loves you, who's tied to you. But then the blame also, and the judgment also comes from the people who know you, who are in your surroundings. So the church, the relatives, the parents, the family. Why are you living Kanga Motema? I am really against this phrase Kanga Motema. En tout cas, je vous dis, Naza contre l'ilobana Kanga Motema. Je suis chrétienne née de nouveau pratiquante. Je suis pour prier sans cesse, mais je suis contre Kanga Motema parce que Kanga Motema est une amutami boma. Kanga Motema est une amuto akufa. Je suis pour chercher la solution. Je suis pour encourager la solution, encourager safety. Problème est bon mal balate. Problème est safety.
Changer.
Problème est changement d'environnement pour la sécurité. Le problème n'est pas le divorce. Quand on dit que je suis une femme dans une relation, je suis victime de violence conjugale, on ne dit pas que si tu quittes, tu divorces, non. Le premier pas, c'est de sortir de l'environnement du danger. The first step is leave the space of danger. So we need to get to a space, like Esperance said, putting a mirror to look at what is the bad behavior and what is the victim going through. It's about getting the victim to a place of safety. And that usually involves removing them from the space where they are being abused, giving them the autonomy to leave that space and seek help for themselves and for the other person. But the victim takes precedence. Donc, exacte ke alinga bomalibala, alingi a sauver vie. Alors, tout le monde a idée à divorce nano, tant on t'a aimé tout le solo et abuse, tout y a safety, sécurité comme première solution. Tant on moni sécurité, tant on moni yango, et là qu'on y en soit et qu'on a son importance, parce que notre importance c'est de sécuriser la santé, la vie de cette personne. Ce que nous faisons, nous jugeons avant de chercher la sécurité de la personne. What we do is we judge before. And so one of the biggest things that we do as Christians, as the people who are supposed to be supporting the victims, is that we judge them. Now, quickly, Sister Esperance, just each of you 1 minute each with Sister Joelle. I'd like you to tell me, how do you spot somebody who is being abused? Number one question, how can you support them? Sister Esperance first.
It's not always obvious because a lot of people, especially if the abuse has got to such a degree that the abuser knows what they're doing and that the victim recognizes that they're actually a victim, they start to create things that hide it. So they'll start wearing clothes. They'll know where to. They'll beat them strategically. They will
Mm,
they will wear so some victim. So you have to look for. Well, we need to be careful about this. Looking out for signs. Yeah.
mm,
First and foremost, because just because somebody displays these sorts of signs doesn't mean they're automatically a domestic violence victim. However, you can look out for signs to see how well your neighbor, your sister or relative is doing. So if you see that you used to have a really your friend or your relative used to be extremely social, all of a sudden they don't pick up the phone anymore. If you call them, their partner picks up. If you every time you talk to them, they're always with their partner in the room.
always.
They
Mhm,
never able to have a conversation by themselves. They
mhm.
never have money. Even if it's a pound, they never have their own money. Oh, I have to ask my husband for money. They never they suddenly become very really withdrawn. They never discuss things that go on in their house or in their relationship. It's always about, oh no, everything is fine. They start hiding things. You will notice the difference because of the changing behavior. So when your relative is displaying a change in behavior, just be aware of how they used to be. Start to support them as
Mhm.
much as you can. Don't try and tell them what to do.
Try
Just
and
be
make them feel good about
Yeah.
themselves more than
Just be
anything.
loving.
Yeah.
Don't even try and make them feel good about themselves. Just be loving
Okay.
and supportive because some of the things that you might do, you think you're being really clever,
Mm,
but it's actually really obvious and will push them away, and then it may alert their partner, and so they may become even more withdrawn. So we need to just be careful. Just watch out for signs that your relatives become really withdrawn. You can't talk to them. You haven't spoken to your nieces and nephews for months, for years even. I mean, you haven't seen your relative for months and you don't check on them. Hello, come on. So you need to
yeah.
check on your family
Thank
members.
you.
If you haven't seen your family member for a week, go knock on the door. And if you knock on the door, it's the partner that opens the door. Those are signs, red flags. And you need to start creating a space of love and support around your family members in order to, ultimately give them the empower them to be able to come out one day.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sister Joelle
Uh,
might have a
Sister Joelle, just quickly, how would you spot the signs and how would you support if
Yeah,
you
I
did
think
spot it?
yeah, Betty, she sorry, Sister Esperance, she raised she raised a lot of points already. But one thing that I guess I can add is just look out for a lack of confidence and low self-esteem in someone, especially someone who used to be very confident, and their behaviors change, or they're no longer as confident, or they're always doubting themselves. Just look out for that as well. And in terms of how to support, I think, like we've been saying throughout the whole show, the first thing is to believe the person. Don't add nor take away from a victim's story. It's not your story, it's their
It's
story.
not.
So
Yeah.
let them talk and just believe them. Because the reality is as well, a lot of them are scared to talk out in the first place because they don't believe that anyone will believe them. They don't
Thank
think
you.
that authorities will believe them, families will believe them. So if you can be someone that just believes them, that will already give them a sense of confidence and will want to open up more. Another thing I would say is help them to plan plan safety, I guess. So that could be, you know, giving them resources, for example, helplines that are out there, where can they go for support, give them this information, and then what they do with that information, I guess, is down to them. If it is, I must say though, someone who is vulnerable, someone who you think they are in danger and are not making any steps or helping themselves, that's when I would say, you know, you can sometimes step in and get authorities involved or let someone else know if you genuinely believe a person is in danger and you've given them the support and advice and they're still not able to get out, then yes, do help that person out.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's what
thank you so much. For Brother Dolly just wrote, how can the church help? I'm going to talk to Mama Nicole, then we'll come to that answer. Mama Nicole, so you got to the point, you've got the scars, you've got the financial stress, you've got even your little daughter telling you, Mom, this is not well, this is not healthy. You're in pain, you want to end your life, and you finally decide to go. Did you pack, get up, and go?
No.
What was the process? A little bit, just quickly. If you can talk us through.
It's a key bongote. I didn't pack, but I told him, nazwaki courage wana, na prière et puis nazwaki courage, nalobi enough is enough.
You stood up to him.
Yes.
Oh, they usually are bullies. They can't take people standing. Can you clap, clap, clap? That's a risky towers. Bullies can't take people standing up to them. That just, you know, scares the life out of them.
Donc, nazwaki courage ngamo nalobi. Dès que sister bete alobi nga natalaki na miroir nga moko pe nalobi comme Nicole oza mwasi oza na bana okosala mieux yo moko mais na aide pe à prière famille nanga namoni frère nanga akotaki pe akomi en tout cas famille pe baide nga parce que bazalaki wana mpona koencourage nga kotika libala te mais bando oyebisa ngai décision eza ya yo
tokosupport yo. You decided to go and your family was supportive. You stood up to me, you say enough is enough.
Sister, likambo liboso eza il faut avoir courage ya koloba.
Thank you. The first thing is you got to take courage to speak and tell about what you're going through.
Tant na lobby,
when I spoke,
oloba na batu, ozo loba parce que eza likambo zo déranger yo. People
misinterpret what you're saying, but the first thing is you've got to speak out.
Yeah. Na lobby et puis famille nanga bazaki vraiment very supportive. Baebisi ngai toza na pona ko supporter yo na bana. En tout cas na telemaki nga moko na lobi ke non nazo sala na oke musala naza na droit ya ko enjoy mbongo nanga. Ngamoko na bandi na koloba bongo ngamoko et puis na bandi koloba ke non il faut Nicole osana ba camarade faut na na batu.
So I started to say I've got to have friends, I've got to have people around me.
Faut na na batu et puis na yebisi ye moko ke enough is enough.
So I stood up to him and I said enough is enough.
Na okokali susu ko vivre na relation ote.
I can't stay anymore.
Na okokate parce que ezo simbate makambo nyonso tu yanga eza mabe so na lobi boboite na sali boboite donc na okokali susu te.
I can't take this anymore, everything I do is wrong, I can't take this anymore, so I spoke to him.
Il faut donc soki toza na besoin na mekai ko try na lobi ke vacances la bazali.
I said, can we get some help? We've got counselors around, can we go? So you trying to get help.
Mais lokola ye alinga kite azomona kaki aza right makambo nyonso ye azoloba eza right na moni ke non Nicole enough is enough na ebisi il faut tozwa solution. Alors solution lokola
I said enough is enough, we need a solution since we don't want to go to other people.
Il faut ezalaka moko na biso ako. Donc, faut séparation.
So we need to separate.
Il faut vraiment séparation parce que nga nazo kokali susute.
I said to him, I've had enough. I can't take this anymore.
Kufate na tsona kufi lelo bana oba okufa.
If I die, my kids will suffer.
Et c'est mieux tous ça va séparer.
I said to him, we've got to separate.
Yo zomona nga naza nga bien nga pe nazomona oza bien toza na bana.
It's better for you to be well and I be well and we've got our kids.
Toza na bana que toza ensemble quoi. Mais wana susu ya ki susu vraiment problème. Et comment il susu problème.
So you took a decision to separate, and I want to, you mentioned your family was supportive.
Yes.
Because they now understood what you, so they believed you.
Yeah.
I think that's important, isn't
Very
it?
important.
Il faut avoir, quand tu dis ça, tu dévoiles des secrets comme ça, il faut que les gens te croient. Ça donne l'encouragement de pouvoir t'en sortir, n'est-ce pas? So when you speak and people actually believe you, it gives you the courage. So they believed you. I want to know, what resources did you use to support yourself when you finally decided to leave? Just for someone who's out there to understand.
Lelo na koyebisa batu ke ba helpline ezali. Ngai nazaki na courage ya sala mote. Mais
donc ba numéro
ezali ya obenga.
Mais yo utilisaki comme ressource te
mais nga na utilisaki ya mote, nga nazaki force na nga ezaki famille na nga bana na Nzambe, Nzambe famille na nga na bana bazaki vraiment force na nga.
My children were my support network and my family was my big support.
Ezaki force pa na nga, mais nayebi que communauté na biso surtout balingaka te. Bamona peut-être que soko bengi parce que na police aya na ndako ekoma ina kaka bon. Eza neti normal.
Soko police ba ko sunga te, the police wasn't helping.
Non, police aza sunga te, poso police aye peut-être bitumba boye ko beta, soki police aye so
when he would beat me, if the police came over, then I would be afraid to tell the police the actual truth, and the police would leave.
Yeah, because I
was afraid that the family would say, oh, the woman got the wife, the man arrested, so the family would cause trouble. So I was afraid to get him arrested and press charges.
Donc, but toza mboka oke elle pesa.
There is help, there is support.
Support eza eloko liboso yo ifo ndima nanu ozala safe yo moko otala nanu teki ozotala bana ozotala nini so otali bana okokufa parce que ngai na wumelaki na relationship wana 20 ans.
Wow.
Na 20 ans
20 years.
Eza pasi donc natalaki nazotala ka bana espérant peut-être que les lois ont changé, les lois ont changé, mais il y a de plus en plus à la worse. Ceux qui étaient avant peut-être dans la cicatrice.
So I kept hoping it would change every day. If I had taken help sooner, maybe I wouldn't have the scars that I bear today. But I stayed. Yeah. So your family was your support.
Support na bana. Et puis nazo ki décision na lobi que tant na lobi ka que en tout cas esili. Donc lelo eza vraiment mukolo ya suka.
I took a decision. I said that's enough.
Like enough na lobi na survive na bana. Donc na mekananu na lobi no naza mwasi na mekananu na kangaki misu na talaki communauté te na talaki eloko te parce que batu bayebi bao bayaki banda koloba ebele ya.
So you call the police when you're in trouble. You call the police, and when the police comes, you don't want to press charges. So there you go. Okay. So was it that you were calling just so he would stop beating you? Was it just so he would stop, really? Or was it that you wanted him to?
No. Là, beta. So azo beta, on bengi, on police là, on bana, ba voisin, donc tu vois, bongo. Mais tant on a besoin qui décision dans lobby, na kanimato in lobby, communauté bakolo ba oba bakolo ba. Mais na lingina zalana no bien ngamoko. Soki naza bien bana na ngai pe na oyeba ko take care ya bana, alors faut na sala quelque chose. Yango wana na lobaki non, enough is enough na boy. Donc na boy vraiment na boy et puis tant na boy.
I said enough is enough. I don't want this. I refuse this relationship, and when I did,
tant na boy et puis nazo yeba lisusu mwana nga mbali ya liboso azaki na azaka te azaka na uni aye tango na yebisi.
When I told him that I left, he said, your God has done. So they were all waiting for you to make that decision. So my son was proud of me. He said, God has done it. Wow.
Yeah. Donc, comme Isaki, Nazolo Babobat Baromona Kake, Son Nicolas Zoloba di Solo Mobo. Folata sapat Nazaolata Poeba. Folata Moeba. Lelo Mama Kenda Kufa, me Akufa Tikana. akufa na
My
image
mother
moko
died,
mabe ke
my mama-
mwana nga asufraka.
but she died with the image of me suffering in that relationship.
Yeah, mais eza bongo te lelo.
So now that you're free, if you had to give advice to a woman who's being abused right now, who's watching us, who's going to watch this after, what advice would you give to this person that's being abused, be it a man, be it a woman? I know we're talking more about women, but a man could get the same advice. But as a woman, you've been through it all. What advice would you give someone watching us going through what you went through? Think of your scars. Think of your every form of abuse that you had. What advice would you give?
C'est ça Rose, so na lobaki là to solaki na lobaki que naza ready, c'est parce que nayebi bato ebele bazo souffrir, mais bato bayebi nga bazo mona lelo naza vraiment mwasi moko naza happy.
If I decided to come here, it's because a lot of people, they see me, I'm good, I'm look well, my kids are fine, I'm a strong woman.
Naza vraiment bien.
I look well.
Naza mobali o alingi nga.
I have a husband that loves me, I'm really good.
Alingi bana nanga.
He loves my kids.
Donc bato bayeba que abuse eza mabe na ba sorti nyonso.
I need people to understand that abuse is bad in every shape and form.
Soki oza na makambo ozomona ke eza ozozala abuse, quelle que soit forme nango.
It doesn't matter the type of abuse, but if you're being abused,
il faut nanu yo accepter que okay, eza abuse.
You need to accept that it's abuse.
Et puis oluka help.
And then seek help.
Zana mutu fo yeba batu nyonso tu ba ondima ote.
Not everybody will believe you.
Mais it doesn't matter. Eza yo mutu zo souffrir.
You're the one suffering.
Eza neti olati sapato ezo soa. Ozo sapato ezo soa.
Mutu
oyeba te bamonika ozolata sapato me bayebi te pasi ozoyoka.
They will only see but they won't understand your pain.
Luka help toza awa kokende ko luka help nde biso tobenga obengi na communauté na biso souvent bato bamonaka ke na basi par exemple bato bamonaka ke aza mwasi mabe.
If you call for help in our community, they just judge you as a horrible woman.
Mais kokanga motema te.
Please don't keep it in, don't hold your heart. No.
Ebandaka muke ezaka mbala mote.
Yeah, it starts bit by bit.
Ebandaka muke.
Tell those young women out there.
Bana ba jeune bokoza baleki nanga bana nanga bana. En tout cas, il faut tala. Oza na fiancé ou bien oza déjà na ndako libala na mobali.
Are you engaged?
Ba ko miki azo contrôler le téléphone alingi toujours ayeba.
Control your mobile.
Et bandara bongo bambata betu asengi pardon.
They say I'm sorry.
La bossa is
I
sorry.
forgot, I didn't mean to.
Tout ça, il faut fungola misu.
Open your eyes.
Fungola déjà misu tala.
Open your eyes and watch.
E umelaka. Po yeba ke ozana relationship moko oza abuse.
For you to realize it's an abusive
relationship.
relationship.
Mais tango po koyeba ngo soko oza na courage te.
Once you find that you're not strong,
pasi.
it's difficult
to
leave.
Pasi. Bato bakufaka.
Those who died, they did not know they would die.
Some
people become alcoholic, they start taking drugs. Because that's the way to cope. Maybe you told someone your story and they judge you. Look at you and not people.
Advice ba helpline ezali
benga
zana muto moni ke na ko se confier na mutu boye
find someone you can trust,
et puis loba ko bomba te mingi ya kokanga mnoko tango zo loba te nde sala pasi mutu moye ba ezate so
people won't know unless you tell them.
So que lobi te muta oyeba.
No one will know unless you speak out.
Il faut loba, il faut loba.
You got to speak out.
Loba comme ça, ozo help, ozo luka help pona yo, et puis oko help pe de l'autre côté.
Mutuana pe. But you're gonna help the other person too.
Mutuana pe fo andima. So ki mutu andimi te, moyen pe azo help ezate.
If you don't agree there's a problem, you're not gonna be able to get the help you need. Thank you so much. I'm quickly gonna read a few messages before I let Joelle and Sister Esperance round up for us. Sister Meta Bisele says she's proud of you. Bereki Andongala, thank you. Minister Doli Esengo says people in our community, they use a lot of phrases. Kamamuteba, he doesn't think it's right. So congratulations, well done. You're a strong woman. There is someone called Monske. This is a real issue in our communities. Big up to you, sis, for speaking out. I feel guilty that I wasn't there and I wasn't fully aware of the whole situation and your predicament. So you are so strong. So he's encouraging you. A lot of people, Elise says, they were all encouraging you and saying, well done for coming out. A few things that I want to read here. Sister Bella, she said, Sister Nicole, I'm so proud of you. Many victims don't have courage to speak, to the abuser because things could turn ugly. The abuser never want to hear the victim. The victim wants to be free from prison. So basically, in our community, even if you're telling someone you're being abused, they are afraid. I don't understand this. Help me out, someone. They are afraid to send the perpetrator to prison. More afraid to send the perpetrator to prison than they are of the abused being killed. Please help me out here, people. I don't get it. You are afraid to let this woman call the police on the man who's abusing them, or if it's vice versa, because you don't want the abuser to go to prison. Because it doesn't look good for you as a family. It doesn't look good for you as a church. It doesn't look good. Mama Kangamotema will pray, Jesus will do it. There were times Jesus stood up and he whipped people when they were doing things that was not right for the kingdom. There's a time for the whipping, like whip, whip, whip. And there's a time for the cajoling and the comforting. When someone is doing something that is really vividly wrong, it's wrong. You go and put the victim to safety. Think about the divorce later. I will repeat this. Safety first. Everything else can be resolved. When you think of safety, you get the woman to get help, get to a place of safety. It may force the perpetrator to get counseling, realizing that this person that I love so dearly, I've been abusing them. But because we are so afraid to speak out, we are pampering and cajoling the evil, keeping it there to continue. It never eases. It gets only worse. It starts bit by bit and it gets progressive. And all this thing, moi Nzambe, a wise woman, une femme sage bâtit sa maison. Domestic violence is a very delicate situation here. It's not this woman trying to not build her home. She wants to build her home, but something nasty is happening that is preventing her from building her home. So we got to sort that issue so she's given the opportunity to build her home. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but basically that's a bit of encouragement. So I want to thank you for coming. A last word from Sister Esperance, but I want you both in your conclusions to include what can the church do to support? Does the police help? What can the victim do to get herself help? And what can the church do to support? So 3 things. I'll start with Sister Joelle. That's the conclusion.
Can you just repeat those 3 things again? Sorry.
So I'd like you to give advice to the victim again. What can they do to get the help they need? And the police, do they actually help? And thirdly, what can the church do to help?
So yes, there are, like Sister Nicole said, there are many helplines that can help. I think someone posted it on the Facebook chat. The National Domestic Abuse Helpline is the main one that I would say to go to for domestic violence. It is, there you go, yeah. Do ring that number. They are a 24-hour helpline. If you feel like you're in danger, you need to speak out, do ring the helpline. And there are also other charities such as Women's Aid, Victim Support, and Samaritans as well. Those are just a few to name. And also, if you find yourself and you are, let's say you're outside, you're in a restaurant, you're in a bar, you're in a pharmacy, and you're with your abuser there is actually a code where you can say, ask for Annie. So ask for someone called Annie, and that is actually a code to professionals.
Say that again. Can you type it in? Ask for Annie. So
Yes.
a code. Esperance will type it in. So a code, if you're in the open air, you're in pharmacy, you're in a shop, you can go to the till and say, ask for Annie.
Say, I'm looking for Annie, for example, and they will understand that you need help.
Go when they say Inspector Sands, Inspector Ant, Inspector something in the underground, somebody is actually needing their help. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people, you may be outside and you're with your abuser there, you don't have a phone to call some of these helpline or download some of these apps. So if you find yourself somewhere in a public space, at a shop, at a restaurant, a pharmacy, just say, I'm looking for Annie, and someone should be able to bring you into a safe place for you to talk.
Wonderful.
In regards to the police matter, I think this is a societal issue. I do think it's getting better than where we were maybe 5-10 years ago. I think as a society, we don't jump to believe domestic violence victims straight away. We don't believe their claims, and for many reasons. And I think that's a societal issue. However, I would say that should not stop you from speaking out. Speak out. Someone will believe you somewhere. The police are there to believe you, so their duty is to safeguard you first and foremost. So do speak out to the police. And I think one thing Sister Nicole said, the police were coming out to the house, but they would end up going because she wasn't pressing charges. The police can't do anything unless if you actually want the help itself. You have to unfortunately press charges, and that's when they can put things in place. For example, they can put what's it called when you can't be in a certain distance from each other.
They can cause a distancing for you.
Restraining order.
A restraining order against you. Thank you, lawyer.
Yes, they can put like a restraining order. There are safe places that they can take you to and stuff like that.
Thank you.
In regards to the church, I'm a strong believer that churches need counselors there. I really do believe that, and I know that some churches do have those services in place. Maybe the bigger churches, and smaller churches, maybe we don't have that in place. But I think any leader, your first job is to safeguard. You may not be someone who has a psychological background or a social work background, but you should be able to at least recognize harm. And I think if a church needs training for that, we need to implement trainings where people can learn how do you recognize harm, how can we safeguard victims of domestic violence and other things. And also just be able to have the resources there if you are not able to offer that support. But I think the first thing the church needs to be able to do is acknowledge that this is an issue. God will do his work, but as my pastor always says, do it to yourself. We too have a part to play in our actions. So that's what I would say in regards to the church.
Well done, Sister Esperance.
I'll start where Sister Joelle has ended.
So sorry, legally speaking, Sister Joelle spoke about the police. If you can tell me, legally speaking, what the victim can do to support themselves when they've decided to leave. If that's really good. That's something I want to know. Yeah, if we put that side of the police on a legal term for you to speak about, like the restraining order thing. Yeah.
Sister Joelle is just highlighted it. The police can come to your house. You can call them. The neighbors can call. Strangers can call. If the police come, they can see and witness you being beaten up to death. They take you to A&E. And they come and take a statement. If you don't make a statement, the police can't take it any further. Unfortunately, domestic violence is one of those situations where, unlike a common assault, unlike GBH, which is grievous bodily harm, the police can't do anything if you don't decide to press charges. So if you want that situation to stop, you need to empower them. And the way you empower the police is by saying, I am in this situation. I don't want to be here anymore. Please help me. They will They will ask you to give them evidence. They will ask you for witness statements to tell them, what happened, and you then need to just tell them. They will give you support if you can't live in the place where you're living. They will help you to get into a shelter. They work with many different organizations to support you and ensure that your case gets taken from the beginning until they charge and imprison that person. Please don't feel that it's your responsibility to protect someone from jail.
No.
If you are a victim of abuse or a victim of crime, any crime, and you no longer want to be in that situation, your only responsibility as an adult or as an individual is to remove yourself from that situation and to to put that situation to an end. If you are a parent and you are in a situation of domestic violence or abuse, and you are allowing your children to be in that situation, unlike with domestic violence, where you as an adult or you as the victim, you need to tell the police what's happening. Unfortunately, if your children are in a situation of abuse, you may be risking your children being taken away from you because the police will deem it as if you're putting your children in danger. So you need to make sure that you try and come out of that situation just because of your children's protection. So we need to think about our children as well. When we talk about domestic violence in our community, a lot of the language usually centers on the protecting the abuser.
Yeah.
Jail is not such a bad thing for somebody who's not learning from
It's a
them.
correctional facility.
Maybe they need to take a break, They need to take a break. So for someone like that, going to jail is good for them. Let them go to jail. You can
They
pray
need a break in jail.
You can pray for them while they're in prison. You can pray. You can fast and pray for them. A lot of people, when they come out of prison, they still get jobs. There are people they're not criminals. They don't have a criminal record. They still can't get jobs. So with or without a criminal record, they will still get jobs. So it's not your responsibility to protect, especially a grown man, from committing a crime. They should know, but you know that it's wrong. How come they don't know it's wrong? You know that what they're doing is abuse, that you know what they're doing is a crime. Why don't they know that it's a crime? It's not your job to police an individual. It's their own personal job to police themselves. It's their job to look after themselves. If you are a parent, protect yourself, protect your children. And with regard to the church, I know that this narrative, it repeats itself a lot. Oh, the church is this. Even people who don't believe in Jesus, they judge the church.
Mama
The church. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not only saying this because I'm a pastor's wife or that I have an insight into the leadership of a church. The fact remains, I don't know about other communities, but in our Congolese and Angolan community, the church is made up of people from the community. It's made up of people who believe in certain things. So the people who are part of the church are the same people who are part of the community. The same people who are condemning you inside the church are the same people who are condemning you outside. So the main issue is we need to change our attitudes.
Yes.
If you are a man, you go to the barbers and your friend or your neighbor is talking about how he beat his wife yesterday, and you don't pull him up on it and tell him that his behavior is unacceptable, and you don't pull him up on it and say that they are exposing their children to abuse, that is wrong. You as a man, you need to speak to your fellow man and tell him that his behavior is unacceptable. I, as a woman, it's my responsibility if my other woman comes to tell me that her husband, my boyfriend was talking to me and I told him what was what and I took the knife out. It's my job to tell her, excuse me, that's unacceptable. So we need to pull each other up on what we do wrong, men and women. It's not a church. This is not abuse. Is not a religious situation. It's a human problem.
Yeah.
It's a human problem. Your pastor is a human being. If your pastor beats his wife,
So what can they do to support if the case
the
was happening in the
church
church?
the church can raise awareness. The police do free classes. If you want to safeguarding classes and you don't know what to do, contact a local domestic violence charity. They'll come to you. They will give you a workshop for free. They will teach you. They'll tell you what to look up for in victims of domestic violence. They will tell you what to do in order to raise awareness. They will help you. The police will come and they will do a free class on child protection, on safeguarding. Even your local hospital, they will send people for free to come and help you, to teach you. So it's not always about money. It's about being aware that it's wrong, and being aware that as an individual we have a responsibility to become to protect each other and to just help each other. So it's not a church. I don't think it's a. For me personally, I don't think it's a church problem. It's a people problem.
Okay, thank you so much. So today we talked about domestic violence and why is it difficult for the abusers, the victims to leave. Sister Nicole is an abuse victim who came to share her story with us, and we thank you. I'm just going to let you conclude in a second. We talked about a few things, why victims don't leave. The abuser is a financial provider. Religious reasons, the church will judge them. Community reasons, the community will judge them. Family expectations of how they want them to stay married. They stay for their children. They stay for their children. Lack of awareness, they don't believe or understand they're in an abusive relationship, for example. What constitutes domestic violence? We spoke about it earlier. Watch the video till the end. Emotional support, we talked about emotional abuse, we talked about control. They watch your phone calls, they observe every call, they control who visits you, where you go, who you talk to. They control your money, how much you need to spend, what you need to buy, what you shouldn't buy. And it isn't love if you've got a partner who controls how much you need to spend on a pair of trainers, or which shop you need to buy your bra from because they want you to buy the least expensive something. If they're controlling how you treat yourself with your own money, that isn't love. They start a little bit, they'll push you a little bit, they nudge you a little bit, they apologize. The next day, they hurt you even more, they buy you a nicer gift. The next day, you get your wrist broken, they buy you a car. The next, I don't know if they'll buy you a helicopter next. The more they hurt you, the bigger the presents they get for you to be able to forgive them. And if you get into the habit of forgiving, it becomes normal. We know it's hard. We can't be in your shoes as a victim to understand it, but we are urging you to think about your safety. It took Sister Nicole long enough, but when she decided enough was enough, her safety came first. Suicidal thoughts disappeared because she decided to live. We live in a society where a lot of bad things are happening, yes. But that bad thing that's happening to the other person, the experience they're experiencing, why they want to stay, isn't the same as yours. Think about you first. Your story could help another person, but you are priority here. Like Esperance said, don't worry about sending the perpetrator to prison. It's not your responsibility. If they're committing a crime, it's the government's responsibility to take them to prison. You matter. Worry about you first. There's a few help here where we've talked about the Samaritans is a group that you can go. Sister Bella said, put Solace Women's Aid. That's there. You can go to the Samaritans is there. Oh, I love what Sister Joelle said, that you can go in any place and ask for Annie. Just ask for Annie, for goodness sake. Annie. I know I'm trying to make a joke of this. It's not a joke, but ask for Annie. It will not alert any suspicion from the perpetrator. Sister Esperance wrote something about returning to order a pizza. I know victims who are also given an alarm bell that they carry. It's just like a key ring that you were given. If you go, you tell the police, even if you don't want to press charges, you just go say, I'm being abused. They'll give you a key ring. And anytime you're in danger, you can press on that key ring. Just make sure your abuser doesn't understand what that key ring is. Keep it in your purse. It's a key ring, but it alerts the ambulance, it alerts the police if you press on it. Very, very important. Mama Nicole is a survivor who came out alive. She's got scars to prove. It leaves a lot of emotional and psychological damage because she looks at those scars and still remembers. But she can look at them and remember the abuse. Also look at them and remember that she's alive. She made it out alive. So we really, really, really are happy with having Mama Nicole here. And anything you want to say to your husband and your children before we log out? Because we've really gone over time.
Love it.
Just
They
love
my
them.
first. Bango baza joie na ngai sengo na ngai za umona bango.
Sister Joelle, olingolo baka goodbye. Betty olingolo goodbye. Balelo oloba photo kata.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. Thank you. I think the last thing I want to say is like seek help, guys, as well. Like whether you're a victim or you see yourself in any of these signs as a potential perpetrator, you know, you're controlling without knowing, seek help as well before it's too late and it gets worse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Merci beaucoup pour tout le monde qui nous a suivis. On était vraiment en anglais parce que je fais toutes mes émissions en anglais, mais on a essayé un peu d'avoir ça en lingala aussi aujourd'hui parce que Maman Nicole voulait vraiment aider notre communauté. Coris et tes frères et sœurs, vraiment merci d'avoir soutenu votre maman. Les frères et les sœurs de Maman Nicole, merci d'être là. Papa Isaac, Maman Ellie, que Dieu vous bénisse. All of you that connected this evening, I thank you, Sister Jane, Louisa, Sister Belinda, Sister Bella, Brother Dolies, always here from Holland. You're always there. Sister Esperance, Mama Pastor, thank you. Sister Joelle, thank you for being there. Sister Meta, Sister Bea and Zeba, thank you so much for your comments. Sister Victoria, Lucy, Mama Queen Destiny, there's so many of you. Sister Francisca, you were all here. Que Dieu vous bénisse. God bless you. Sister Liz Depisco, Sister Marlene Luquikila. There's so many of you. I'm grateful, but do us a favor, okay? For this video to circulate, we need you. Please share. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel Rose Bijoux Ramires and share. And God love you all. God loves you. I love you too. Until next time, this is Talk to Me. Women of God, Rose Bijoux signing. I say bye to them.
Bye.
Bye. Go to bed now.
Bye.
Work tomorrow. Bye, me Ray Ray. Bye, all of you.
Sleep. Bye.
Bye. Hey.
Hold on. Let's sign out first.